All right. Welcome to week two of my vlog. So, yeah, I'll just quickly talk about what I've been doing this week. So this is Friday, August 23rd. Um, let's see. So the week started on the 17th or 19th, 20, 23, right? Yeah. Okay, so basically, next week I'm traveling to KTD. So this week, one of the biggest and important to-dos was finishing the poster that I have to present at KTD, the presentation, the PPT that I have to present, and then prepare the code, tweet about it, prepare the tweets, and they were also creating like a demo, so work with the students on the demo. So that's one big thing. I mean that this is a time bound thing. Okay, obviously I have to present on Tuesday, so I have to have a presentation ready, but I have to print the poster before I fly. So I have to finish it on Tuesday, by Tuesday. So I have like some buffer to print it. That was a big one that I spent a lot of time on. I mean, yeah, these like, I didn't finish the presentation yet. It's yeah, it's a 12-minute presentation, so it's not that big, but requires a lot of like thinking and iterating. So I'm in the process of doing that. The next video I'm going to upload is me practicing that the presentation and a video which public can consume and view and understand what our paper is about. Um, then the second thing I did was look at reviews for ICWSM. So I had volunteered for uh, um, reviewing some papers, particularly from underrepresented communities at ICWSM. So and I gotten like two papers for that. So that was one. I mean, the main thing is that at least I was considered an expert and was recruited to help these authors. So it took more time. Usually, in general, like for me, reviews take a long time because I can read the paper in some, like maybe an hour or so. But for me to formulate my thoughts and write it down properly, it really takes a lot of time. And I don't want to use ChatGPT in this in any way because I mean, even though I did all of the work, like if it gives out like any signals or anything that makes it appear that I wrote it using ChatGPT, that's a bad thing. So I didn't. I mean, I'm not hiding the fact that I use ChatGPT for so many other things. The third thing is there's a bunch of projects where we are either at the planning stage or at a stage where we've run some initial data collection and I have to look at them. So there are three projects like that. One is the big WhatsApp data collection that we ran during the elections. So we're in the process of coding that data, so hand coding that data, and we're doing it at very, very large scale. So we're preparing some sort of front end interfaces for that, custom built for our annotators to, it looks like a chat. We reconstruct the chat so the annotators can go and click on each of them and then do some annotations for each of them. We want to make it efficient because we want to potentially code like, I don't know, 100,000 items or something. So it has to be very, very, very efficient. Otherwise, it's going to take months and months. But yeah, that's still a huge thing that we're working on. So coordinating with the guy who's doing that and designing that, giving feedback on what needs to be changed and things like that. That's one. For the WhatsApp stuff itself, like we are also in the process of running a lot of these images and text through some sort of semantic embeddings pre-trained. So basically, just get these embeddings and then build some sort of index on top of it for these vectors, so we can query and see like, okay, if I want to know about, I don't know, Muslims, like what are messages that and themes around that. Uh, so yeah, for that requires some engineering because my AWS machine doesn't have a GPU. I have a desktop with the GPU, so I have to somehow set up a tunnel and get these files here, run the code on the GPU, but then it uploads the vectors back to the MongoDB there. So, figuring that out and running that. So that's another. We have finally a demo, but like that, given an image, like upload an image and I can check like what are the relevant images. but it doesn't look great. Like I don't know. I mean, I have to figure out what's happening there. That's the second one that I spend a lot of time on, some time on. The third thing is so we have another data donation project on YouTube, like Google Takeout, and that we already ran a pilot with around 200 users or so, and that data needs to be looked at. So we have a bunch of data of varying quality. So it has location data, YouTube browsing data, Chrome browsing data, and things like that. So the YouTube one is a complete one. And so ideally, I mean, there's a bunch of questions that we want to answer there, but one of the things is just understanding how much political information are people consuming, especially during the elections, what happened. And so I was trying to look at and visualize some of that data, but I started it, but then got sidetracked. Like so that needs to be done. Uh, and the fourth one is another pilot that we had run for collecting Instagram data. So basically, we created an app, an Android app that people can install and browse their Instagram feed, and we record that and we download all the content. So basically, we have now um, so it's a short recording, like because some technical limitations, you're only getting 10 minutes of a browsing session for each user. So that still captures quite a bit. Like, you get like what are they exposed to, what are the accounts, how what of them are recommended, how many of them are from their friends, things like that. Then once we have the content, we can look at like, okay, is this a political account? Is this a meme account? Things like that, just to characterize like what information people are consuming. So we have that data. Again, I have some write-up written by the student on that. I have to go through and look at the actual data. So that was on my to-do list. I did not get a chance to do that. The other thing, there are two other, so these are the coding and things like technical things in terms of administrative things. I am, all these projects, but I don't have resources, students. So I have to recruit someone, like so I'm working or trying to recruit some master students here at Rutgers. I talked to maybe four of them this week. That's like half an hour each, so 2 hours total. So that took some time. Unfortunately, none of them were good, so that's 2 hours of wasted time. And then, uh, yeah, then there is a um, papers. So there's, we have two papers planned for Kai, which is in September 12th. So that's 3 weeks. But anyway, because I'm traveling next week, so it's just have 2 weeks for that. So there is a draft of some sections already written by certain, like the students. So the two papers, one is the paper, an extension of a paper that got rejected at ICWSM. This is so we had some qualitative small scale analysis of WhatsApp data from a village in India. So it's very biased, but very, very detailed, like, understanding of who we sample, what they get, what consume they consume and things like that. So we try to do the same on a different context. Again, a very biased sample of around 60 Indonesian students who gave us groups. And so we are again analyzing what they're seeing. So the basic idea now is to put these two things together and come up with like a story on like a Kai paper on actually that I needed to think and write about. So again, it didn't happen. Like I did not have the time to think about. So the Indonesia draft is ready, the India draft is ready. So my task now is to put them together and write a coherent paper. I don't even know if that's possible, if there's a coherent story in these. But one of the comments from the ICWSM reviewers was that, this is a biased small data set. Why does it matter? So we want to say, okay, we'll get this other context as well and compare. Actually, we also have a data set from Colombia. So the idea was to put all the three things together. But unfortunately, the fucking bureaucracy at Rutgers, we were not able to pay the guy enough or like at all. So the person who collected the data was supposed to annotate and work on it. Like he's not working with me anymore. That data, I mean, we have all the data. It's super rich data, actually, much bigger, much richer than the other two data sets we have in this paper. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's probably going to be useless because if we publish these two, then that small thing will not be publishable on its own. Anyway, so that's that. But yeah, that's one paper for Kai. The second one is about the use of ChatGPT by students. So how are they using it? So previous work in this space for ChatGPT usage mostly is surveys. Like, if you ask someone, okay, how are you using ChatGPT? Like I was saying earlier, people will just lie. They'd say, oh yeah, I'm not using it for copying assignments or something. But one of the main findings. So basically, what we did is we recruited some Rutgers students, and they exported their ChatGPT usage, like the complete file, and gave it to us. And so we qualitatively coded like what students were using it for. And one of the, yeah, I mean, not so surprising finding is like 80% of the students use it like 50% of the time for just copying assignments. So you can get these sorts of quantitative numbers. I think that's the interesting aspect. It's very small scale, like 36 students. But yeah, qualitative paper for Kai. Let's see how that goes. And then so the third thing I did in terms of papers is submit one of our papers to Social Media and Society, the journal, and got rejected because it was too descriptive, apparently. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm really having a lot of trouble these days. There's like 7 or 8 papers on my website that, we've been writing papers a lot, like, but they're not getting published. And this is a single author paper, so I'm the one who's responsible for it. And there are like 3 single author papers that I'm the only one doing it, and I don't have the time or interest to actually get it published somewhere. But they're there, then they have to go through somewhere. So I have to submit it to some other venue pretty soon. So yeah, that's another thing that I did. Um, yeah, I mean, these are things. Yeah, okay. The other big thing that I did is actually I found this model called Flux, which generates like realistic images, very, very realistic, hyper realistic looking images. And so one of the things that I was thinking of doing was just, I mean, exploring that. Like, so I spent all of Thursday, yesterday, just working on like fine-tuning that model, trying different things with that model, trying different prompts, fine-tuning it on my own machine, things like that. The potential idea could be to do some sort of intervention where we dynamically generate some sort of very personalized images and see how people whether it affects believability and things like that. So this is like not just AI images. These are AI images that look like you. Like, so you can upload your pictures, and we generate images that look like you, very hyper realistic, like really, really realistic. So yeah, I spent all of yesterday and a lot of today just working on that. I'm so excited about it. I don't know if it'll even take me anywhere, but yeah, that's another thing. Okay, so hopefully, I mean, it was overall as every week, like it could have been better, but yeah, I did some stuff, and I still have a bunch of things on my plate, like these papers. I wanted to read them, I didn't have a chance to read them. Then all these unexplored data sets, I wanted to explore them, I didn't have time to explore them. I had a bunch of stuff. But yeah, next week I'm really excited to be at KDD. KDD is in Barcelona. Barcelona is my first, I lived there for 2 years, so I know the city well. Really excited to be back and meet some old friends. And I mean, I've never been to KDD, so that's another really interesting, very exciting thing. Let's see. So yeah, that's it for now, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.